Mute your mic? What? I don't care about that. I don't have the stream open. Well, anyway, for those that do, good evening. Welcome along for the 7th Grand Prix in the ARC Formula 1 season. We're here at Barcelona, Catalunya for the 2023 ARC F1 Spanish Grand Prix. Getting going with some qualifying right now. We're in the rain, as you can see. Should make
you
for...
can throw tire strategy completely out the window this weekend.
Exactly.
It's going to be all inters. I don't think we'll see full wets. I think it's a light rain. So, but we got one today, folks.
Man, Catalunya, I had a whole intro ready to go, but with the rain it seems that anything I mention will be kind of irrelevant anyway. Well, couple out on the track. Andrew Davis in the Alpine is already out. Let's see who else we've got. We've got Fabian in the McLaren. Looks like Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in the Haas, out just ahead of Fabian. And that's it, just a few risking the biscuits at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a consistent light rain, so I don't think that the track's going to improve or be any worse or better for that matter. So, and you don't have to worry about, obviously, like I said, tire strategy, but you do have to realize that you only have a certain amount of wet weather tires for the weekend. So the race obviously still going to have rain in it, so you got to think about that too. So there's a lot of stuff to play. Plus, people will be out there taking multiple laps. They'll probably have higher fuels to start like a couple laps. Just makes sense.
Jamie Knockout on track at the moment, following along. Winner of the 5th Grand Prix of the season 2 weeks ago. Well, 3 actually. 2 Grand Prix ago.
Jamie Knock's been very miss, but...
I gotta say, his race pace itself has been rather consistent. He seems to be up there when he's doing well, but it's always an incident or two that hangs him out, and recovery from there just seems impossible to last. I mean, the first 5 Grand Prix of the season, he's just had incident after incident, it seems.
Yeah, hopefully he could just take the momentum of the win and just say that, hey, like, this is possible. It's just a season switcher. A midway point, not even midway point, I think we're about a third of the way through. So it's not too late for him to just claw back in it.
Tyler Crabtree in the Ferrari out on track now. Podium finish in the inaugural Grand Prix of the season. He did get 3rd place at Bahrain, but has yet to score meaningful points since then. However, all eyes will be on that Williams team, currently leading the championship. Just on the money, it seems. Abdul Al-Hazmi as well as Micah de Jong of the Williams. Week after week, it doesn't matter what incident befalls them, they always end up with a good finish.
Yeah, like you can see right here that Williams 102 points ahead of Red Bull, and a testament to what you saw in the first race. They both had incidents spun out, and then somehow, boom, at the end of the race, they're there taking meaningful points. It's been the consistency throughout the season, over and over and over. See 8 podiums, 3 wins for the team. Consistency is key, and they're showing that's why.
Yet to come out on the track they are, yet to dip their toes, if you will. It's a wet one though, it'll be funny, it'll be a fun race. Funny things will happen along the way, of course, it's an ARC race, but no matter what, we will see a good one, as Jonathan Jurg lays down the first meaningful time of the session with a 127.8.
A lot of people tentative. It's just you wanna feel it out, because you gotta think, oh, it's just car slowing down. I thought we had an incident for a second, but
we do have a spin. That is Ayrton Frederick in the other Alfa Romeo. Recovers nicely, back onto track, and should be good to go.
Just like you said, Jamie Knock sets the fastest time by 0.2.
Of course, in these conditions, we won't be waiting for the track to warm up or rubber in or anything to those effects, but regardless, we will see the best adapted and the well-adjusted drivers rise to the top, especially as the session goes along. The ones that really know what they're doing will will make themselves known, as opposed to the ones that are still trying to figure it out in these conditions.
Ooh. Mercedes got on the curb at the exit of turn 16. Almost lost it, but just barely missing out on pole at that time.
Liam Carrick off by 0.03 of a second. Two-time winner this season.
Boom, there it is. Sets the benchmark for the lobby.
Into the 27.5s. I'm sure we will see that those times start to drop as people do adapt to the conditions, but for now the 27.5 is respectable. It will stand. More time starting to come across now. A few 128s, a few 130s. Must imagine that incidents along the way caused them to back out of that lap. They'll be looking to put down better times.
Just trying to see who's about to come across the line. I think it's going to be
Ayrton's off, it looks like. A little bit of an incident there in turn 13.
Yeah, getting out of the way of people, but at the same time picking up a lot of grass.
No more representative times set yet, since those first few started to trickle in.
I was just on board with Jamie Knock through turn 3 rather. Rode the curb. No grip on the curbs. On that paint here in the rain. Drivers are going to have to be... Oh, there's Liam Craig.
Liam does cross the line half a second faster than Tyler Crabtree.
Yeah, maybe there's something there. You see all these guys setting times on 2-lap, like the higher fuel runs, letting the fuel come out and then trying to let it burn, get the tires heated up.
Matt Daly in the Aston Martin, 1,000th of a second ahead of Tyler Crabtree in the Ferrari. You'll love to see it.
Yeah.
That'll be fun to watch.
Ayrton, or I'm gonna constantly screw up the name.
Ayrton Frederick, that is, in the other Alfa Romeo. He was struggling a bit, seems to still be trying to find his footing.
Yeah, footing's gone.
Not much of a shakeup as far as the top 5 or so is concerned. However, we did just see Jake Scarborough lay down a nice 127.8. Puts him into P8 for the moment. Abdullah Al-Hazmi, though, comes out swinging. Matt Stotts as well comes out swinging. Provisional pole into the 26s he goes. First one of the group. Al-Hazmi, though, first lap out, he was waiting to pounce. He had not yet come out of the pits, and the first lap he lays down 27.3. He'll be looking to improve from there, maybe fighting for pole even.
Josh appears to be stuck in the kitty litter. Not sure what I'm looking at.
Oh, he may be at risk of beaching it here. He does seem to find a little bit of a grip to get out of there, back onto track without much issue. Nobody too close to behind that he'd be getting in the way of, but still, I mean, you hate to see it.
I'm so perplexed at when I just watched it. Checking across the line, McLaren. Eated. Checks in his first lap, P10, not bad. The only driver yet to make a lap is DeBoer Yoshi.
Looks like it. The line may be starting to clear up as more drivers with those full wet tires disperse some of the water that is pooling on the track. However, most of them do seem to be on those intermediates.
Yeah, want to remind everybody too, we do not have the updated Spain, so we still have the chicane, so...
Yes, still racing the chicane in the 2023 ARC F1 season because of the fact that we are doing so on the 2022 F1 game.
Poor Yoshi doesn't like his lap, just peels off. It's not like it's still 8.5 minutes, plenty of time left.
He does have time. He knows that the certain spots are starting to dry out, and he'll just take his shot when he feels comfortable doing so.
You can see the racing line starting to form now. It's just Boryoshi and Josh to set laps so far. Everybody else has set one. Ayrton, James are not really there. 17's 20 seconds off. So something's not working there for Ayrton.
Interesting, however, the fact is that we are a little over halfway through the session, and the only one into the 26s thus far is Matthew Stotts in the Ferrari.
Yeah, that Mercedes of Liam Craig looks pacey too, but good. See, we talk about Ferrari needing a good race here, and look at top 5 for both of them. Stotts sitting a provisional pole right now, so looking at, hey, the rain brings out the best in the drivers. We may see that today.
Biggest surprise thus far, for me at least, has to be the Williams. We see Al-Hazmi P4 currently, and Mike de Jong down in P11. Was expecting them to be a bit higher. We do see, however, Jamie Knock does take provisional pole with the 26.6. Second driver into the 26s. Can only imagine that the rest of the lot will start to drop into the 26s their next time around. The line is drying out to some extent.
Yeah, you can see the preferred line clearly starting to take shape.
Rain, however, is still falling, so it will not be completely dry at any given point of this weekend. Jamie Knock pulling over on his cool down lap to make some space.
Again, we'll certainly still be a lot better than the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix that was canceled. Way less rain.
Can't disagree there. Next across the line, it looks like should be Abdullah Al-Hazmi, currently P5. Will be looking to get into the 26s on this lap. Oh, and it looks like he may have backed out.
Yeah, he's not deploying any of the boost, or this is him getting ready to, yeah. He took an extra outlap to heat the tires.
Looks like he did,
he's
yeah.
full deploy now, full beans on it, so.
Alright, off he goes.
Frederick, invalidated lap. Ayrton Frederick has just struggled this qualifying session. Cannot get a clean lap in. It's unfortunate.
Will be good to see, however, where the Red Bull of Boryoshi ends up on his first meaningful lap of the session, it looks like. We'll be hoping to avoid any issues that he won't have to back out of as he did his previous timeout.
Yep. P2 in the championship currently by only 3 points. Important race here.
Around turn 5 he goes.
Yeah, it's just
following along with him
so
right now.
Easy on the power, because it's, I mean, you know at the top of the hill as well as I do, Alex. This hill right here, you take usually almost flat with just maybe a feather, and you can lose the rear end. You got to imagine the range just makes it that much more sketchy.
He did go purple in Sector 2, so he should have a pretty decent time coming out of here. Going through turn 12 as he makes his way towards 13 at the moment.
He's making excellent use of short shifting, just staying in a lower gear, and it's really working for me.
Through the final chicane and around turn 16 he comes now. Across the line, we'll be seeing what time he manages to lay down. And it's good for P6, a 27.2. Not terrible, but he will be looking to put down another lap hopefully by the end of the session to maybe bump him up a little bit.
While we're looking away, Matt Daly moved himself up into P3.
He did. Third driver of the session into the 26s, just barely though, with the 26.9. And Jonathan Juergensmeyer pips his teammate by 7 1/1000ths of a second over Jake Scarborough for P7. Fabian Green retires from the session from P5 with the 27.1.
Probably saving the tires.
Down to the last 180 seconds or so of the session, of those that have yet to go out to start their lap at least.
Somebody's coming across the line. Nope. The Mercedes. Oh, out of the final corner. Oh, that is... Thank God the car was ghosted. Liam will get a lap there. Got McLaren off in the pity litter. Sean. Magnussen on. And wide open.
Not much action here.
Jamie Knock was off in the grass. Gravel, rather than grass.
Matt Stotts will be on a flying lap here, currently sitting P2 with the 26.8. Maybe looking to improve, but I'm sure he's comfortable enough in that position, must he hold it. 3 drivers only so far into the 26s. And none of them are a Williams, who are leading the championship.
Ooh, that was off. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer off in turn 3 at the beginning. Wasn't an accident retirement, it was a retirement via the pause.
A few drivers here retiring. Furch down in the AlphaTauri, sitting P19. He'll have to make the most of the race. Matt Stotts with a purple sector 2.
Ooh, got onto the curve there. Oh, he's invalidated. He's gotta be...
I'd be extremely upset in that position.
You can see what he's doing right now. You can see he's just trying to get some energy into the... He's only got 40% to try and do a quality lap. This is a tall order, but we'll see what he can do. It's a make or break.
Matt Stotts currently on a Hail Mary lap. A few drivers that'll be coming across the line soon will also be on the Hail Mary lap. It does not look like... Oh, and Matt Stotts crashes out. He will not improve from that P2 position. He'll have to hope that nobody else manages to improve close behind him.
Oh, wow. Well, you said Hail Mary. Unfortunately, it's intercepted.
A bit too much under it. Josh Bowditch, however, in the AlphaTauri manages to snag P2 from him in the meantime, the 4th driver. However, actually the 5th driver, that is. Did not catch it, but Borioshi moves up into P5, also into the 26s with the 26.9. Josh Bowditch, however, in the AlphaTauri into P2 at the moment. Jamie Knock remains on provisional pole.
Crabtree's about to come across the line. Is it gonna improve? Yeah, P5 at the moment.
That is P5 for the Ferrari. Borioshi ducks it into the pits, so he will not snag that place back. Any more movement? Al-Hazmi up to P11. Mikey de Jong retiring, his teammate, P12, so that'll be an 11-12 start at the moment.
Matt Daly to the line, see if he can improve as well. Improves, but not in position time-wise, just 007 off. Set fastest sector 3 again, we're seeing.
Does manage to take it into the 26s, though. Seems to be a tall task for most of the field.
Al-Hazmi moves up into P9.
So that will be Mikey de Jong having retired from P11, starting P12.
Josh didn't improve, but stays P2 for the moment. I think that's actually it.
Gabe Cazzola. Gabe remains P15 in the Alpine as well. And so there you have it. Jamie Knock does hold off the competition for pole here, of the Spanish Grand Prix. Should be a good one with Josh Bowditch starting in P2 on the front row with Jamie. Matt Stotts and Matt Daly, the two Matts, taking up the second row. Tyler Crabtree of the Ferrari starting P5 alongside Boryoshi in the Red Bull. Liam Carrick starting P7, not a terrible start. Fabian in the McLaren starting P8. Abdullah Al-Hazmi starting P9. Probably a bit of a disappointing finish, and it's Jonathan Jurgensmeyer rounding out the top 10. Jake Scarborough and Matty DeYoung will be lining up alongside each other, 11th and 12th. And it's Andrew Davis and Sean Kissany? I'm not sure. I'm sorry for any butchering, but they'll be alongside each other as well, P13 and P14. And off we go to the Spanish Grand Prix.
Yeah, I don't know if you had a chance to notice, but the top 5 separated by less than 0.2 of a second. So you got to think though, a lot of nerves from Josh right now, starting P2 on the grid. Like we gotta imagine a dry race scenario, turn 1, and now we have what we call the spicy turn 1. Who can find the traction? Who gets on a curb? Who gets on a piece of a blade of grass under braking? Can change the complexion of the entire race.
There will be problems abound. Everything that was previously prepared for has just kind of been thrown out the window.
T-posing.
That is quite interesting, and on top of each other to boot. All three of them.
It's called unity. Stretching, I believe. They're just stretching.
Maybe doing some Tai Chi, some deep breathing.
Interesting strategy by Mercedes and Red Bull to leave the inters without the tire blankets out, but...
Alright, and formation lap underway here in the wet conditions of Barcelona, Catalunya. Josh Bowditch just going crazy already off the start, just wiggling that car.
Hey, that could be a difference here. You want these inters to be in their optimal range. You saw the guys were setting faster and faster lap times as they did multiple laps. We saw, I believe, Josh was able to take P2 on 3 laps. We saw Stotts was doing better as they went on because the heat getting into the inters is so important. That's why we barely ever see full wets because they just can't get the tire range you need to have optimal grip. It's just whether people on this formation lap take that seriously enough. I can tell you what, Jamie Knott has done the Kimi Räikkönen where he's just on his way to the grid.
Everybody, of course, starting on those intermediate tires.
And I can tell you from the onboard right now that we have this information because we can see the stream.
Predicted pit strategy. It'll be either strategy A, inters to inters, or strategy B, inters to inters to inters. Pick your poison.
What I'm noticing, there's about a 10-degree difference of tire temperatures. Josh has got his tires what looks like in an optimal range, almost 15 degrees warmer. So this start could be interesting. Look for Josh. Because, look, you said he was going crazy, but he's smart.
He may be doing it for a good reason, however. He'll have to get a good run. He is on the optimal point for the overtake into the first corner, but it'll be interesting to see regardless. We'll be following along for the start.
No dry line here created yet, so
Few penalties assessed for improper grid positions. And it's lights out and away we go for the 2023 ARC F1 Spanish Grand Prix. Jamie Knock with a good getaway. Josh Bowditch doing well to keep up with him though. And we do seem to have some incidents straight off the start. Into turn 1, they go wheel to wheel. Josh is fighting hard for that position and he does end up with the better line. However, it did take some wheel banging with Jamie Knock to get it done. Jamie may be hanging back a little bit, not looking to take that fight too soon. Not just yet. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, however, up into P3 off that start. He'll be looking to
But
gobble up any problems that befall the top two.
But if you're Josh, you had to get that done. It was fair racing. It was fair racing. We can praise Verstappen for all he's done, and that was minor in comparison. That's an excellent start by Josh, and the front two have cleared the rest by almost a full second now.
Looks
He needed
like
to
it.
do that. I told you that 10 degrees just made a difference off the line, and the grip on the outside, it mattered. Oop, trouble in the back.
Trouble in the back, it looks like, with Mikey de Jong in the Williams.
Hey,
Finds himself at the back of the pack.
33 laps still to go, and you can bet this man will be sniffing a podium by the end. It's just what he does.
Only about a second and a half off of P18 at the moment. He will be looking to fight back. Not too terrible of an incident. Fabian also with a bit of a shake-up. However, does make the place back off of Liam. They are wheelbaying, though. Going around turn 13 into the chicane. And it is Fabian that will hold off Liam for P10. However, already we are seeing Furch down P18 with the track limit penalty. Won't be great. And it is Liam who's had himself an incident. No, he hasn't. He's ducked into the pits for fresh inters. Swapping his inters with inters on lap 2. We'll see how that pays off.
Oh, it had to be from damage sustained. It's just when, listen, you're racing in the rain with no downforce, you're driving a tractor. But look at this, Josh already 1.5 seconds ahead of the pole sitter.
He did. He took a big risk going into that first corner, and it's paid off.
I can't see any damage on the Alfa Romeo. Like, it could be floors, could be minute, but whatever it is, it's Josh is taking full advantage of it. Remember, no DRS either, so you have to just get drivers based on skill.
In these conditions, it will be just off straight pedigree. Your driving pedigree is what will earn you positions in this race and nothing more.
The McLaren go around the outside of the Red Bull, making it stick. Up at the P14 for Sean.
More incidents in the back and a little bit of fighting as Furch has made his way up to the rear end of Mikey de Jong in P17. Mikey having made the move around him, Furch is looking to fight back at the moment. And Al-Hazmi loses a place to Andrew Davis down in P9 at the moment. Those Williams are really underperforming this week to a level that I'm sure they did not expect. Looking to make the position back.
Looking to try and go around Tyler there. It's a work. Tall ask, a little bit of touch. You do not want to touch that curve.
He was even with him for a moment going into that corner, but it is Tyler with the better getaway.
A lot of respect shown by the drivers there too. Super clean. Midfield battle is amazing. Everybody's just on top of each other. Matthew Stotts, Corey Yoshi, and Matthew Daly kind of trained up there. It's got to be tough. It really will be tough without DRS because a lot of straights and you're taking a huge risk in the rain trying to snatch something in a braking zone. But you've got to have the testicular fortitude to just send it, I guess.
Jamie Knock here, having made up some time to Josh Bowditch in the lead, making more time up through the final chicane. Across the line, he will be only about half a second back. Josh, however, with the better getaway out of the chicane, has made up nearly 2/10 that he lost through the chicane.
Both of them conserve energy. It's really good.
It seems that they both are finding their strengths and weaknesses as far as certain sectors and certain points of the tracks go. And Josh, right now, at least at the moment, seems to be leading in the final sector and the first, but it's Jamie with the better time through the second sector.
Yeah, this is where you're going to see youth versus experience too. If we see Jamie Knock apply pressure to the young Alpha Tower driver, you've got to see. We already saw him go wide up the corner of exit 3. It's not so much, it's mind games here. If you can't get by the guy, make him make a mistake. You got to wait for that moment. You see Josh missing the apex, taking a heavy curve there, heading up the hill. You can tell he's not driving out of the front of the car, he's driving out of the mirror right now, and he's got to knock that off because Jamie Knock will pounce it. He's in his head, you can see it visually on screen here.
Jamie Knock already with an ARC F1 win this season. And nearly, let's see here, 56 laps led this season for Jamie Knock. Josh Bowditch with 0 wins this season, and this is his 3rd lap led.
Yeah, it's just Josh right now is just overdriving the car in every way possible. Sure, he's getting the run out of the corner, but when he gets to this tight technical sections, he's missing apex after apex, and Jamie Knox just eating it up, just staying patient, waiting for the one mistake. And all it takes here will be one mistake. In the dry, it's a curve. In the wet, you don't even know. They both managed to pull away from Matt Stocks, though. So Matt Stocks, though, is under pressure from Jonathan Jerry. Ooh.
And we have had an incident, it looks like, involving the Aston of Matt Daly, currently down in P13.
Doesn't look like any damage to front wings, but then again, we don't know what the driver feels, so it's purely speculation.
His teammate AJ quietly making his way up into P7. He'll be racing it out for P6 with Tyler Crabtree soon enough at this pace. However, he has started a little bit of a train behind him with Andrew Davis and Fabian.
Oh, here it is. Jamie Knock, fantastic exit. Josh trying to defend down the inside. It was an absolute send, and it's stuck.
For the moment, Josh with the better takeaway, and he gets into the back of Jamie Knock, and unfortunately, given the conditions,
I can't place blame solely on one driver there. I was looking behind. It's just, again, speculation, but
Josh
just moved over.
Josh did get the much better corner exit. However, Jamie Knock did have the right to defend as the leader out of the exit, so it's going to be interesting one way or the other. Jamie Knock finds himself down in P16 for his troubles. Josh Bowditch is free to run, it looks like. Already 1.2, almost 1.3 seconds up on Matt Daly in the Ferrari, currently sitting P2.
That's not correction. Sorry.
Sorry, I just probably shouted out. Matt Daly currently running P11. Matt Stott's within a second, though, making up time through that first sector, already down to 0.8 from the gap that was 1.3 around the start-finish.
Let's just say that one's going to be left to the court of public opinion. It could go either way. Both drivers are going to say they feel they were entitled to the spot.
It'll be interesting to see because the camera was the broadcast camera was on Jamie's car looking back, so we did get a full view of the incident. However, the lines and whatnot will have to be determined afterwards with reports and the various means of making things happen out of situations like that. But for now, it is Josh Bowditch who finds himself in the lead for his 6th lap led in the ARC F1 2023 season. All of which coming, of course, in the first 7 laps of this Grand Prix.
And Matthew Stotts slowly closing the gap. After the spin in qualifying, still kept his position. Team got the car masterfully prepared. Yeah, you can see it. Josh is just overdriving the corner. There might be some front wing damage that he got from the rear end of
There may be. He seems to have lost the magic touch that he did previously have through Sector 1. He was outracing Jamie Knock through Sectors 1 and 3, but now he seems to be losing pace to Matt Stotts rather quickly.
Ooh, we got Jake Scarborough and Gabe battling out. As they go up the hill, Jake Scarborough's going to get the better of the opponent.
Gabe going down the inside. Nice little move there on Jake Scarborough for P8.
I really wish we had access to, I guess we could be quote-unquote stream sniped. If we could just, I wish we had a little bit of access on the tire where the drivers are going through. I don't know what the strategy is. Probably, if they can eke out a one stop, then tire strategy is moot. But it's been a while since I personally raced in a rain race, so I couldn't tell you about strategy. This is a completely different game than what I've been used to. And Luke takes it for the 8th. I think he took a 5-second penalty earlier for ignoring yellow flags, which he'll have to serve on his pit stop.
Interesting race thus far. Yeah, the tale of two teammates. It's always interesting when it comes to ARC F1. Sometimes the gap is just too big to bridge, and sometimes it's just straight luck for one and the lack of for the other.
Tell you what gap isn't increasing is the one out front, because Matthew Stotts is all over the back.
He
fellow
is.
Italian team.
And with no DRS in this race, it is purely on merit that Matt Stotts has made his way up to the rear end of Josh Bowditch. He will be looking to fight for that position soon enough.
We'll say this. Josh is not even using any of his ERS at all. Fully stored battery, so... And Stotts has 48, so Josh has the ability to defend. It's just... I'm not sure why he hasn't used any of it.
The lead 2 having built out a 3-second lead over Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, currently sitting in the final podium position. He's fighting for it though, with Boryoshi close behind, and Tyler Crabtree not too far behind him also, as we see AJ making his way into that train. Only over the course of 2 laps he managed to break away from
Tyler Crabtree just on edge through here. It's allowed AJ to pull up, close the gap within 3/10 and 2 corners. She's loose. It's interesting to see the drivers' different lines. Some people like to be slow in, fast out, fast in, slow out. Some people just not caring. It's just like you can tell some of the traction control users being able to run in a lower gear to get higher RPMs, and you got some that are just finessing the throttle in a lower RPM setting. It's mixing. It's not like your normal race where you just see everybody essentially on it every lap over and over and over again. Everybody is doing something different, whether it's lines and just finesse of the wheel. Oh, is Tyler gonna make a move?
Tyler looking for the inside of Boryoshi, not quite enough to make it happen though. However, does close the gap by quite a margin. AJ Knickel right on his rear end as well. Bit more of a gap up to Jonathan Jurgensmeyer P3, however, they are definitely all together in the train. And it's Liam Carrick next to get track limit violation. Interestingly enough though, it looks like Matt Stotts has kind of clued into the fact that Josh is not deploying too hard, and he may just be kind of sitting back and waiting for a mistake to happen. He's maintained the gap at about anywhere from 3/10 to 5/10 on any given lap.
Yeah, I could say probably Matthew Stotts' strongest sector is Sector 2 on Josh, where Josh is just taking the speed he gets down the front stretch and using it for all of Sector 1, but when it comes to Sector 2, Stotts is all over him.
Will be an interesting battle as the race progresses, of course. And it's Liam Carrick in the Mercedes reserve. Not finding his footing for this one. He will be retiring early after a few incidents and penalties.
Boryoshi all over Jurg. Tyler Crabtree all over Boryoshi. And AJ Knickel all over Tyler Crabtree.
Making up the gap, because originally it was only Boryoshi, Tyler Crabtree, and AJ Knickel that were somewhat close together. Jurg was kind of starting to pull away from them, but they have seemed to caught him pretty quickly.
You could throw a blanket over all of them.
Oh, Tyler Crabtree with an interesting line through the final corner, however, does maintain his position over AJ for the time being. A few cars into the pits now.
Interesting. It's the third of the race.
Maybe looking at the two-stop strategy. I don't know, without any information about the tire fall off from the drivers themselves, we're kind of left to guess. But there's
Jamie
definitely...
Knock is flying right now. You're going to see it here. Probably fastest lap. He's driving angry.
looking to make it count from P17 at the moment. Does have a driver pitting ahead of him, so he should
Whoa,
clear.
what happened here? Yeah. For a second there, Matthew Stott's almost around Josh. They both jumped the curve there.
Matthew Stott's definitely waiting for a mistake. Maybe thought that he had an opportunity there.
Tyler Crabtree on the outside of Borioshi can't make it. It's hard to keep up. We got a battle for the lead, and we got a battle for the final podium spot too.
It is Borioshi that does manage to gain the position.
I mean, Alex, if you look at the track map, there's 4 guys that just look like this little blip.
Yeah, it is rather interesting. The space has been made between the cream and the rest of the crop. And it is this pack of 4 right here that seems to be drawing the most action. Jonathan Juergensmeyer doing very well to hold on to that P3 position. Still 3 seconds back from the leaders, but has maintained that gap. It has not grown a bit in the last 6 laps or so.
Yeah, same with Matthew Stotts. It's just remained about half a second. Like I said before, just each of the drivers has better sectors, and it's just allowing them to. You don't see the spread until we get to the front straightaway. You just see the gaps, but then once we start getting to these high downforce, high speed corners, and it just fields and bunches back up. It's an elastic band, so to speak.
Having not been overtaken yet, it seems that Josh Bowditch's nerves have kind of settled, and he's gotten a bit comfortable leading the pack. I mean, given the fact that Matt Stotts has been on his rear end just for the last 8 laps or so, the fact that Josh has held on to the position means that he's probably settled in to some degree, and we should see fireworks come later in the race, but for now, seems they're holding pat at about half a second gap.
Well, I can tell you this, Matthew Stotts is deploying, he's trying so hard, and Josh is just driving his own race. It's just, gotta say, he's doing a smart job. He's not had to defend. It's a different approach than what you could see what happened. Oh, he goes wide. That's
well off the
warning
track.
for sure. Yeah. I was just about to say he's not making the same mistakes he was when he was battling Jamie Knock, but complicated curse. Didn't cost him much.
Matt Stotts right up to the rear, had to brake rather hard to avoid an incident there.
AJ Knickel's on the outside of Tyler Crabtree, but I don't think this is going to work here. Oh, this is going to be touch and go.
Oh, he steps out by quite a margin. However, being the last one in that train, nobody behind to gobble him up for that mistake. He'll have to fight back to get to the back of Tyler Crabtree.
And I'm sure with pace and the fact that all 3 of them in front of him are battling, he'll catch right back up. Shouldn't be a problem. Just right back to Matthew Stotts, though. It's just, he's got to be so frustrated behind the wheel. You know, as a driver, Alex, just trying to get around a guy, and you just can't do it. You just, this is a huge mistake by Josh. This is going to allow Matthew Stotts to get a huge run out of the final corner, but he hasn't. Oh, it's just not going to be enough. Ooh. This way we're waiting for 5 laps.
Matthew Stotts looking to make it around the outside. His front wheel is almost parallel with Josh's rear. He does get a little weight on the brakes. The better line through the first 2 corners. However, Josh still on the inside, fighting back, maintains the position for now. Matt Stotts looking for the switcheroo. He has the inside line for this corner. Will he make it stick?
He's going to have to try. Argy-bargy.
It looks like he gave a little bit to Josh, and he does end up in the first position.
Hey,
Josh.
You gotta, like I said, there's a lot of frustration behind him. He sat there, waited patiently, and he did what he had to do. He's out there to win a race, and if you gotta blur some lines, you gotta blur some lines. But guess what? He's in first, and Josh is now having to catch and gather himself, and bring the fight back to him.
At the time of the incident that Josh just had, the gap from Jonathan Jurgensmeyer back in P3 had shrunk from about 3.5 seconds down to 2 seconds. However, it's already grown back to almost 2.5 seconds just in the time since.
And you gotta think, does this lead for Matthew Stotts grow? Has he been held up by Josh this whole time?
This is where we'll see the gap currently sitting around 1 second.
Still good. No retirements due to accident. No safety cars. Everybody's kept it smooth. We've had great racing. I saw the yellow flag inspector. Oh my God. What? Wait. I did not just jinx that, Alex. Safety cars deployed. Huh?
Looks like it. Huh. Be interesting
What
to
is
see the reason for
red?
such a thing.
The red. Jamie Knopf has had an incident missing his entire front wing, and frustrations compartmentalizing him. In some regard, he's got to feel that the AlphaTauri might have put him in a position where he is, and he's got to be steaming behind the helmet, especially in the rain. But we're going to bunch this field back up. You know Josh is going to be licking his chops trying to get back at Stotts. This battle for P3 between Jurgensmeyer, Yoshi, Crabtree, and Knickel just pretty much makes it the same. They're going to be nose to tail.
Lot of respect, however, it must be said, between these top 6. The top 2, of course, fighting between each other. A lot of respect shown there. And then P3 to P6, those 4, you know, they've been doing very well also, given the conditions and stuff. We will see the leaders peel into the pits, Matt Stotts and Josh Bowditch.
Yeah, that's what I really enjoy about these wet weather races, because you can modulate your throttle and be better and have more confidence in a line that somebody else doesn't have that. Like we mentioned earlier, multi-groove essentially. It's almost like NASCAR, we got multi-groove stuff. So you're able to see a lot more side-by-side racing because there's no dignified racing line building track rubber. I guess you could say that there's a dry line created with less water in it, but if you're willing to risk it and you have the skill, we've seen tremendous side-by-side battles. As I said, a lot of respect shown. This has been one of the better races I've seen thus far this season, and all it takes is a little bit of moisture in the air to make some great racing for ARC F1.
Every driver through the top 14, it looks like, coming into the pits under safety car.
Now, it'd be interesting because this isn't quite halfway, but you gotta think that you could go to the end here.
I would hope so, especially those that were up front that this was their first pit run of the Grand Prix. You have to think, if you're already going to be halfway through the race come the end of the safety car, you could probably make the other half stick just as long as you did those first sets.
Yeah, we didn't see the leaders pit until safety car period. We saw a few duck off early. Some due to incidents, such as Jamie Knopf, but we'll re-rack them. I will say this, it's been quite the opposite of what our normal, not saying ARC F1, but IRL F1 race in Spain. We've had a lot more excitement. It's side by side. Maybe that's what they need to do. We just need to wait until the rainy season in the Catalonia region of Spain.
Technically, I think a lot of the Spanish interior of the country is considered desert ecosystem, so
Rip.
we might end up having to wait a long time for something like that. That's the only trouble with that. But I do have to agree. I mean, just for what it's been thus far, we've had a great race. No DRS also, so it must be mentioned, of course, this being an equal machinery series that the the success in a Grand Prix like this comes only from your own skill and talent and your own racing merit. The pedigree of your driving is what will put you ahead of other drivers rather than any mechanical advantage.
You gotta say, Josh. Josh needs to finish this race. Josh's line has scored 0 points in the first three Grand Prix, multiple retirements, scored 2 points, and last week scored 6. He needs this result. Because even finishing second, I know, you're eager. You gotta be thinking, the youth, he just wants it. He wants to just show everybody that he's legit. But you got to think about the fact that this is only a third of the way through the season, and you haven't scored more than 10 points in a race, and you're sitting in an opportunity for a podium. Do not risk it. But we saw how Max Verstappen used to race when he first entered F1. You just got to know when to do it.
Nearly a child himself, Max Verstappen was, and you're right, maybe it's that growth period.
Hey, guess what? This track, do we see the lion in Josh today?
Soon enough. Is the safety car coming in this lap?
Oh yes, safety
All
car
right.
is in, field is bunched. We are waiting on Matthew Stotts to give us the go-ahead.
Following along, we will then with Josh Bowditch come this restart. Matt Stotts does take off, gets a little bit of a jump on Josh Bowditch, however Josh is right there with him. Matt defending the middle, looking inside, Josh with the swing to the outside, does have space on him, however they are wheel banging. Matt Stotts with a better bit of a line.
Like I said, Josh has got to understand, he's just bring her home right now, but you know he wants this so bad.
He's looking rather tight. Here we go through the end of the first sector.
I've got to tell you, the back of the pack is also just all jumbled up right now, but the focus is certainly at the front with these two drivers.
A little bit of light breaking through the clouds, however, not enough to really change any aspect of the track conditions at the moment. It is Matt Stotts building out a bit of a lead on Josh Bowditch currently, already up to about half a second.
It's always the same three. Oh, we see Mike. Look at this. Look at this. Mikey DeJong. P5.
Up into P5, did not pit with the rest of the main squad that did. He had pit earlier, so he may be running a strategy for his own advantage that's put him in a great spot. Currently P5.
We saw him at the first lap incident. What did we say? It's lap 1. Don't worry about it. Oh, we got a McLaren around Sean.
It is Sean. Evids does get around. He will be fighting to get to the back of the pack.
Gallon side by side with Al Hazmi into turn 1. Very cordial, very cordial.
Very respectful. Al Hazmi may not be looking
Matt
for the
Daly.
fight. However, he does open himself up, yes, to Matt Daly, also looking for that spot.
Oh, and Luke goes off. That's a tough spot for all drivers involved.
Big kink for Luke Allen in the Red Bull, and it is Al Hazmi who will get the better result from that incident, right up onto the back of Ayrton Frederick at the moment. And Ayrton Frederick, I must admit, given the conditions, he's been driving a little scared thus far this weekend, and I can't imagine that the pressure of the train behind him is making that any better.
Yep.
Currently holding on to the final point scoring position. He'll be looking to make the most of it.
Matthew Stott sets a purple sector 2. He's pushing. And
He is
it looks
pushing.
Like Josh is just saving a bit now. It's just maybe just take a look at the bigger picture here.
Matt Stott's already building out about half a second per lap over Josh. So over the previous 2, it's now up to about 1 second.
And Jared dropping back to 2.1, but again, for Yoshi, Matt DeJong joined this party with AJ. Tyler falling a bit back here, but you gotta believe he'll be up
Business as
there.
usual for them, it seems. As if the
Yep.
safety car never happened, they're just right back into their train. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer doing well to hold them off by about 6/10.
Yep. They just added a Williams into the mix for fun. I love to see it though. It's just tight rate. Oh, goes. Al Hasby's trying to get on the outside of Ayrton Frederick. The switchback didn't get enough traction out. Plus, very hard to make passes here. You have to be bold and daring.
Al Hasmi, a driver we know for his skill, of course. He's finished well enough previously this season, but at this juncture, he may just be kind of looking to avoid an incident. He knows he can get around Ayrton Frederick for that P10 position if he's more aggressive, but aggression is higher risk given the position. And with the track conditions the way they are, he may not be looking at that risk assessment the way that he would if it were dry.
Yeah,
However,
Mikey DeJong all over Yoshi. Yoshi all over Jurgensmeyer. But the front straightaway. Look at them all weaving, trying to break the slipstream, but oh, it's gonna be a pass on the outside by the Williams. Oh,
maybe, however, oh, it is Boryoshi shutting the door on Mikey DeJong.
Almost bump drafting out of turn 3.
Jonathan Jurgensmeyer takes the opportunity to build out about 8/10 of a gap because of that. And as we just saw, AJ Knickel going quite wide in the previous corner has lost a little bit of an advantage to Mikey DeJong, currently P5. He did have a chance to take a look up the inside in that previous corner, but with the big step out, he's now looking to fight for that position back.
And that's just pulling Tyler back into the play as well, and Gabe as well, just sitting back there waiting for a mistake by any of these drivers, but everybody's been pinpoint on it. Especially Matthew Stotts. We saw it early in qualifying. He set the tone early with the 126. Ultimately, just wasn't able to get it done. Made a mistake. Cost him. Went for it all. The Hail Melon, so to speak. But ended up being the Hail Gallagher. But making up for it. Oh, we got trouble.
We do have trouble with Jamie Knock, it looks like.
Like we said, man, Jamie Knox either fighting for a win or he's just out of the points. It's just been...
These conditions do not seem to be up his alley by any means. I mean...
It's all gone downhill since the incident with...
I mean, but...
imagine there will be words. And that's another safety car.
Jamie Knock is a driver that we would easily be expecting to be fighting, like, in the top 5 at the moment, but... Just given the conditions, it's a retirement for him, and he'll be licking his wounds after this one.
Yeah, Luke Allen in as well, taking on new tires and a new front wing.
And a new wing.
Is this a virtual, or is this, I believe it's just a virtual safety car.
Might be a VSC for the incident involving Jamie Knock.
Unless, no, that's the safety car waiting in turn 3. This is a full...
Oh, it looks like it will be a full deployment.
I was trying to catch a light on the side of the track, but... Yep, I found one. SC. See, Luke Allen just made his way around the safety car. You gotta imagine, does this spark that insight in Josh to go for it one more time, give it one more go with gonna probably be a 10 to go. None of them want to pit. Unfortunately, the safety car comes out so close to the last one that there's no real advantage. You're going to lose a lot of spots under the safety car for pitting.
It looks like it.
But for a guy like Luke Allen, who attained some damage and fell back, this could be the blessing he needs. We see 2 cars going, and I believe that's Andrew and Sean taking on new tires. Andrew takes on just tires, no damage, just pretty basic pit stops for them. It looks like Luke Allen trying to conserve some fuel, might have underfueled it, right around 8th gear. But now we've just turned this, Alex, into a sprint.
Looks like it. It'll be a 10-lap shootout from here.
We'll take a peek while we sit under safety car. What this could do to drivers in the current position. Matthew Stott's currently sitting on 10 points for the season, so listen, 10 points for Matthew Stott's right now is huge. Tyler Crabtree, his teammate, running 7th, both in the points. Good day for them. Mikey DeJong making his way back up. Al Hasby slowly worked his way to the top 10.
It looks like,
what can you say? Like he's just done everything he's needed to do to just cement himself on the podium. At this point, you'd hate to see him lose it. No bias here towards Red Bull either. The guy Jonathan Jurgensmeyer.
He really hasn't needed to fight for it by any means either. He's just been holding down that P3 position on solid driving alone.
Yeah, it's that what we go back to when we're talking about Josh with the youthfulness in him, where when you get in a situation where someone's on your tail, you're driving more with the mirror. You're not hitting your apexes because you're looking at that mirror, trying to see where they're at. Where it kind of seems like John Jurgensmeyer's not really care where Boriyoshi's been. He's just running his own thing and just letting his pace and the way he runs his lines just determine the outcome. Because it's gotten close a few times, but other than that, it's just maintained the steady 8/10 to 6/10, not really getting there, while everybody else is just trying to make sense and make inroads. They just can't get it. It's been a great battle all race.
Waiting now for Luke Allen to catch the back of the pack. Safety car should be in come the end of this lap.
Lights aren't out yet. Here we can talk about those tire temps again. Going really warm up. There it is, safety car in this lap. So now we'll see Stotts back off, let Burt Nylander get his way to the pit. Yeah, I think Burt's in that car wheeling around Catalonia right now.
That's a man who earns his pay, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, well, not according to Lewis Hamilton. He wants more pace out of him whenever Lewis is in first, I'll tell you that. But Burt sends it, riding curves.
Alright, following along here with the rear-facing cam of Matthew Stotts for the restart. We'll see if Josh Bowditch is able to manage to pull anything out here. Matthew Stotts with the quick takeoff, though. And he seems to have caught Josh by surprise. It's Jonathan Jurgensmeyer up alongside Josh and into the P2 position. Bit squirrely, though, heading into turn 1. He will hold the inside. Manages to hold off Josh, but Josh with the bit better exit through turn 3.
That's going to invite Mike Strong on the outside for the podium, but Jurgensmeyer on the inside, still holding his line. Here we go, folks.
And we've got ourselves a race.
Oh, so close.
Jurgensmeyer losing out a bit to Mikey DeYoung on that one.
Back, but couldn't get it done.
Was not able to nail the switcheroo. He will hold back and look to take the fight to Mikey DeYoung come a better time. Mikey DeYoung, however, up into P3. Who would have thought?
And Luke Allen's right in the thick of it here. You don't need to throw a blanket over these folks. You can cover them all with a paper towel. Holy smokes. Now here's where Josh has got to understand that it's Mikey DeYoung is not going to settle for P3. I can assure you of that.
Josh, however, holding steady at the moment, within 3/10 of Matt Stotts at times throughout this first lap off the safety car. The previous restart we saw Josh already having dropped about 1.2 seconds by this time across the line.
Luke Allen around again in the final corner.
It is Luke Allen around.
You can see Josh taking a different line. Not sure if dirty air really affects the cars here with the rain, but I can't imagine it helps. You've got to feel for Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. He had an opportunity. I'm gonna move up a step on the podium here, and now he's on the outside looking in. We just mentioned it too before we got started again.
Already dropping about a second to Mikey DeYoung in P3.
Dots goes a bit wide, but seems to carry speed. I love watching that the drivers are still taking the risk using the curbs and somehow still making it handle. High risk, high reward.
Through the final chicane we go, and Matt Stotts has managed to build out his lead by about 0.8. However, it does seem to be dropping with Josh getting the better exit out of the final corner. Across the line they go in only about 0.6 of a gap. Matt Stotts, however, putting in that fastest lap.
AJ Knickel looking under the inside of Tyler Cratchy right now into one. Respectable driving. Oh, they touch side pods. A little bit squirrely. Ooh,
slight contact, still side by side. It is AJ with the inside line, so he will
Jake
get a...
Scarborough looking to take advantage too. Look at him. Oh, pit squeeze, contact. Oh, good save by Scarborough. But that's going to invite Matt Daly.
Matt Daly on the inside of Jake Scarborough, wheel to wheel, and he does get the better line, and there's slight contact, and it is Sean.
Sean and Jake. It's going to invite Andrew Davis to try and get an overtake.
Wow.
Oh, there's contact between Sean and
Jake Scarborough off track.
He's got to be a little upset under the helmet there, but wow.
What a nice little sequence that was.
It's just the deck shuffled in a way that...
Jake Scarborough still looking to make that place back. Andrew Davis only holding on by a thread.
Yeah. There they are now. These last few points are up for grabs. I think it's contact. Anyway, 5 to go. And Stotts has just increased the gap.
Up now to 1.5 seconds over Josh Bowditch in P2. Mikey DeYoung, though, 1.3 seconds behind Josh.
He hasn't closed in the gap to Josh at all, so...
He hasn't, however, the gap between him and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer P4 has only grown, unfortunately. And Jonathan Jurgensmeyer may be under pressure here from Boryoshi. Not quite.
Boryoshi spent a better part of 28 laps trying to get past this boss.
Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, really, for these last, 6 laps or so, and that being the last 10 laps of the race itself, it's really the only point that he's had to defend his position. He's been running top 5 for the whole Grand Prix, but mostly by himself to some degree. This is really his first taste of a battle.
And unfortunately again, it's Luke Allen, and we have a oh no.
And it's another safety car. Wow. With 6 laps remaining, the leader's about to cross for 5. Catching up to the safety car now, and oh, it will be just absolute chaos to the end from here, I imagine. Few drivers into the pit. Wow, and with drivers pitting, it's likely that we will be under safety car for 2 laps, which will take us to only 3 remaining come the end.
This is what the viewers are gonna want to see, because you gotta think that someone's gonna take a risk. Someone's gonna just, what would Danny Rick say, lick the stamp. Whew. Breath here for a moment, grab myself a drink.
Yeah, if you haven't already, this is your chance, folks. It's going to be... The fireworks will come out for the finish. I guarantee that. So whatever you need to do, make sure you do it now. And make sure you're back to watch for whatever may unfold. That's all I can really say.
And hey, for the people viewing at home on the live stream, make sure drop a like, leave a comment. We have the live stream open. We'd like to talk with us, ask us questions, to ask us what we're doing wrong, tell us what we need, what you want to see, discuss the race, get involved. Every week.
if you're only here to see Stoddard come away with one, respect.
Hey, what can you say? He needs, like I said, this would be a huge momentum shift for that team. Unfortunately, Tyler dropping out of points now at P12. I think he stopped along with a few others there, so we'll have the fresher tires. If you take it, actually, let's take a look at Stotts.
Matt Stotts, of course, one of the nicest guys in ARC. He's a homie. He's real. He's not going to beat you around the bush. If he comes away with a win, he'll be feeling good about it, and he'll be feeling genuine about it. And for that, I hope he does.
Oh, I'm gonna knock on wood because I look forward to the race interview.
Coming through the end of
last lap. We should have 1, 2, 3 laps of racing.
Waiting for, it looks like, Fabian, Luke Allen, and AJ to catch the back of the pack. If they manage to this lap, we should be in. Of course, if they do so at a reasonable time. Looks like they will be catching at some point through the end of Sector 2, hopefully. And if so, the safety car should be in this lap.
Usually right about now is where we see it, and we're not seeing it.
Unfortunately, it does look like, because of Fabian being so far off the back, we will be under safety car for another lap.
Well, folks, you're going to get a good old-fashioned green white.
Getting ourselves a 3-lap overtime. Overtime by no means, of course, with the race distance that was originally scheduled. Just the format itself.
Whoa, that is a late call.
That is a very late call. You did not expect to see that, neither did I. Wow. Safety car is in at the last
Stotts
possible second,
again.
and Stotts getting away very well. Wow, Josh is left to wonder what happened there, I'm sure. He'll be swallowed up by Mikey DeYoung here. Mikey DeYoung looking up the inside of turn 1. Will he have enough? Not quite. Still on the inside here. It is Josh, though, with a bit of a better takeaway. He will maintain P2. However, Matt Stotts, wow, already up to about 0.8 of a gap over Josh.
Al has me in the back, spinning around.
It is Al Hazmi having himself another incident. Well off the pack now. Matt Stotts, though, what a getaway off that safety car. Has built himself out almost a 1-second gap to Josh, currently P2.
They tried to throw everything at Stotts today, and I'll say this, but we look back at that move he made on Josh, but we see that he needed to do it, and it's worked for him. You got to look at Josh. If Josh thinks that what happened between him and Jamie Knock is fair, then you got to imagine that what him and Stotts did was fair. Better driving prevails here.
Have to imagine that there must have been some type of Constantina effect coming off the safety car restart, because the gap between even just the top 5 or so is quite substantial. 1.3 seconds between Matt Stotts and Josh Bowditch in P2, but even still 1 second between Mikey DeYoung and Josh Bowditch for P2.
Yeah, Al Hasby retiring out of turn 16. It's going to be his day done for the Constructors Champions. They got a few points to spare, I will say this. Especially they have... Oh, no.
The McLaren of Evids also having himself a big incident. Looks like he'll be retiring. Left the session, but his car's still on track, so not sure about that. However, Matt Stotts still 1 second up on Josh. If there's crunch time, Josh, it is now.
Yeah, or just do the sensible thing. He's got to understand he's not catching Stotts, and to bring up he's gapped Mikey DeYoung, who's shown pace all season. So you got to come out with this hanging your head high if you're Josh here. Huge points for the team. Help out that team a lot. Teammate out of the points currently with time penalties as well. Look at that, Luke Allen spinning out several times. Just 2 spots away from getting points, 1 lap to get it done, and they're battling hard in front of him, so don't count him out yet.
Josh Bowditch, of course, may be looking to, as that gap grows between him and Matt Stotts, you can only imagine that he's just kind of playing it safe. This will, of course, be his first ARC F1 podium if he manages to make it stick. He just may not be looking to get too greedy there, fighting for first.
Yeah, Mikey
DeYoung has turned it on. Along with Josh kind of playing it safe, Mikey DeYoung has smelled blood in the water. He senses an opportunity here to turn his 3rd place podium position into a better one.
I think he's just waited a bit too late. If you're going to do that, you got to have started. You got to work up to the move, and it's going to take a late lunge and a questionable one at that. Oh, I had to say something. Luke Allen around 4-time Quattro spin row, unfortunately for the Red Bull driver.
Into the final sector of the final lap that the leaders go. It is Matt Stotts with a considerable lead over Josh Bowditch. However, Mikey DeYoung making his way up to the rear of Josh Bowditch will be interesting coming across the line, but it looks like Josh does have enough to make it happen for that P2 finish.
Matthew Stotts.
It is Matthew Stotts who gets it done, of course, here in Barcelona, Catalunya. For the 2023 ARC F1 Grand Prix, it is Matt Stotts who comes away with a win.
That was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in this
post-race incident, kind of something.
I believe China, Lance Stroll, Sebastian Vettel had to drive back around the track with the rear wheel missing.
Well, in a wet and wild 2023 ARC F1 Spanish Grand Prix, it is Matthew Stotts who comes away with the win, with Josh Bowditch holding on to P2, and Mikey DeYoung rounding out the podium in P3.
Let's see if we can try and get Josh. Where's Stotts? Stotts is already in here. Mikey DeYoung. Gotta go to the Discord and just ask these gentlemen to get in here.
Looks like it. Well, there you have it, folks. A wet and wild 2023 ARC F1 Spanish Grand Prix. As mentioned, Matt Stott's coming away with the win, with Josh Bowditch and Mikey DeYoung rounding out the podium. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer holding tight for the P4 finish. That's great points for him. Andrew Davis in the Alpine making his way up into P5. Boryoshi, the Red Bull, P6, with Gabe in the Alpine, P7. AJ Knickel only managed to make P8 happen today. Ayrton Frederick, however, in the Alfa Romeo, did stick it out for P9. That's a good points finish. Jake Scarborough rounds out all the points finishing positions in P10 in the Haas. Matt Daly P11 and Fabian Green in the McLaren P12. Tyler Crabtree in the other Ferrari only managed to take home P13 as Andrew Furch takes P14 in the other AlphaTauri. Let's kick it to Billy, who's with some of the racers. Billy?
First off, Stotts, what a drive, man. You needed that, man. It's been a tough season thus far, but once you got the lead, you made a beautiful move. You were decent enough, you gave him position, but once you got it, you didn't give it up. You got him on every restart off the safety car. Walk us through that, man. You got to be absolutely stoked right now, because we are.
Oh, bro, I tell you, I'm happy for how bad I've been. Oh my God, from leaving races, not finishing them, wrecking out of some. Uh, Obviously, the race at Miami felt great. So, fifth at Miami, and now, we win here. And for the restarts, I knew where my weak points were, and I just had to make sure I do my best to calculate the distance between me and him. Coming up to when I decided to go, because I knew my straight line speed wasn't there. I ran some very high wings, so I knew I didn't have straight line speed. So I tried my best to take a look at the distance. The first restart, I didn't feel like I did a good job. He was still able to get to me. So I tried to play it a little smarter the second restart, which I did. And then I kind of kept that same thing going for the third restart, and kind of let the car drive itself, to be fair. Didn't try and force anything after I got out front. Just did my thing. Just kept it clean. Really, that was the main goal.
Yeah, we mentioned it during qualifying, the struggles early on in the season, but like we mentioned, it's only a third of the way through. Plenty of time left for you and your teammate Tyler Crabtree. But we mentioned that you just need this result. We saw you the first person into the 126, is setting the tone for the rest of the lobby. Fortunately, came up a bit short qualifying, but what I saw what you did, we saw youth first experience. When you got to Josh, you let Josh make the mistakes. He gave you the opportunities. You capitalized on them. You stayed patient. That's where the experience comes in over the youth. And once you got it, like you said, you maintained, and we were super stoked to see you get it done. It was an awesome race. And when you guys got side by side, you could tell you did what you had to do. You squeezed a little bit, but listen, that's racing. That was fair racing. That was a good move, and ultimately you're on the top step because of it. And what a race, man. Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Josh Bowditch, P2 finish. Great result. How does it feel to get your first meaningful points haul in the ARC F1 season? Did you feel confident fighting for the lead, or were you just happy enough to settle for P2 and get the points there?
Yeah, Josh. Yeah, we were talking about that when you were with the fight. We thought, is Josh gonna go ahead and just go for the youth, the young Max Verstappen? Like, you're gonna send it, you're gonna make a bold move, but ultimately a risky move. And we was talking, is he gonna understand where he is, his point situation? You've had a string of bad results, lots of retirements early on in the season, but sitting there P2, we thought, what's he going to do? And we ultimately saw that you were backing off and just maintaining pace. You actually pulled the gap from Mikey DeYoung, who Mikey DeYoung, we all know, he's been on it this season. You showed great pace today. Qualifying went well. You were less than half a tenth off a pole position. You raced a good race. I just want to ask you, what happened there with Jamie Knock there? We saw, from mine and Alex's angle, it looked like You were in a position, Jamie moved over a bit, ultimately there was contact. We don't really know. I'd like to get your perspective on that, just to shed some light. Yeah, we got both angles on the stream. We saw the POV of Jamie. I was on Jamie, looking back at you. It just seemed like it was destined. We called it 50-50. We called it 50-50. And even, what about the move you think with Stotts there? Coming out of four, he had to really close the door there. And as a racer yourself, you know you would have had to do the same thing too. You appreciate the move. You look at that. Are you just happy that you're able to keep going?
Well,
Yeah. Well,
great finish, Josh Bowditch. First laps led in the ARC 2023 F1 season, and you made a good result happen because of it. Congratulations. All right, on to our third place finisher, Mikey DeYoung, who I believe is with Billy Targi right now.
Mikey DeYoung. Somehow this Williams team, I don't know what happens on lap one, but I think you guys should do it every race because we saw it. We said there was an incident. He kind of dropped to the back, and I even said, he'll probably be fighting for a podium at the end of the race here. What did you do? Did you nail a different pit strategy? Duck in early, safety car came out because all of a sudden you're sitting in fourth and fifth and fighting along. There was a little bit of a train right there between you, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Tyler Crabtree, Boryoshi, AJ Kanickel. Guys were all line of stern. No DRS can help you. Somehow there was Jurgensmeyer went to go for P2 on Josh. You took advantage of that and put yourself in the podium. Walk us through that race.
Yeah, uh, especially after that spin in that one, I was quite annoyed. But then I knew that I had pace, even though my qualifying wasn't going that well. I knew that I had pace, but so when I get close to someone, I just wait it out until they make a mistake and make a move, and that's what I did all race long, and until like until I was like P6, P7, and then from there I took the advantage of the safety car restarts where a lot of people around me are not as quick as me on the straight, so I take the inside of the corner or the outside of the corner to make the move, and that's how I went to a third place. I actually hoped to get P2 as well, but I thought I could fight P2 if the last safety car didn't happen. I might restart. My first couple laps are not that quick, but then after that they keep on going again. So you saw me closing on the last lap pretty quickly. But yeah, needed one or two, maybe three laps more, and then maybe you could have fought a
I
longer.
mean, you guys are well in control of the Constructors' Championship right now. Going into the race, it was a 102-point gap between Williams and Red Bull. And it's insane because we sit here and we watch every week. Somehow, some way, something happens within the first 10 laps to both of these Williams cars. But then at the end of the race, we're interviewing you. It's just the consistency, the patience, and the ability to keep your head down when it's your back's against it. It's the storyline of the season so far because you qualify well, something happens, you just clawing, the best way I can say, you just claw your way back up, and you just do it so subtly that you don't even notice it until boom, you're there at the end, and where did he come from? It's been awesome to watch all season. It's great to cover. Congrats to you on your podium. It was well fought, man. It was great racing for everybody. Multiple lines. I saw people running different lines, being able to feather throttle and just take more daring lines. So it was fun. That was one of the best races of the season I've seen by far. It was great, clean racing by all the drivers. Very respectful. So
Yeah,
congrats to
for
you on your podium.
everyone left everyone's space. Like almost no contact at all.
Yeah, there was no retirements due to any structural damage to a vehicle. It was few just in the pit. So it was a good race. I enjoyed that one. I hope everybody that watched loved it because I did. It was awesome.
Well, and that'll do it from here. The ARC 2023 F1 Spanish Grand Prix, round 7 out of 25, brought to you from us, Alex Fox and Billy Targi. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you for the next one.